This is NDDC Today.
Happy Independence, Nigeria, and welcome to the program. 57 years later, how far the Niger Delta? Someone once referred to NDDC Today as, can you guess? Well, as NDDC Roads Update, and it wasn't a joke. While it's easy to excuse the mischief in that remark, if you look at it on the flip side, roads have such critical significance to development in the Niger Delta. The NDDC has made it a #1 priority to open up rural and riverine communities to the rest of the world. So it's not surprising that roads are featuring again in today's program. The Commission has taken a resolution to make sure all roads in the region are kept in usable condition at all times. This is NDDC Today. I am Uri Ngozi Chukwuka. In today's package, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, NDDC, meets with projects design consultants of the Commission. NDDC promised to fast-track Obia-Nembe Road to its completion. NDDC roads rehabilitation in Edo and Bayelsa states gets commendation. This and more when we return. Welcome back. The Managing Director of NDDC, Mr. Nsima Ekere, has insisted on integrity and competence from consultants in charge of projects, designs, and supervision of the Commission. The Managing Director gave the charge in a meeting with consultants in Port Harcourt, and our correspondent was at the meeting and fastened this report.
The Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Mr. Nsima Ekere, has stated that the Commission is devoting 70% of its budget to the completion of ongoing projects in the Niger Delta. Mr. Ekere spoke in an interactive meeting with NDDC design and supervising consultants in Port Harcourt. He noted that only 30% of the 2017 budget would go into new projects. This was to enable the Commission restructure its overbloated balance sheet. The Chief Executive Officer told consultants that henceforth the NDDC would insist on using only proper designs on all its projects to ensure quality and timely delivery.
I called this meeting today because I want this narrative to change. What we want going forward is that whatever project, whatever infrastructure that NDDC is building must stand out as the very best in this country. It is necessary that whatever it is we want to do, the roads we want to build, the drainages we want to do, must be the best. So they can stand the test of time, they can stand the challenges of weather, they can stand the challenges of our terrain. And that's where you come in.
The NDDC Managing Director affirmed that henceforth designs for projects must be proper and complete before execution. He urged the consultants to ensure close supervision of all projects, while insisting on the integrity and professional competence of all those engaged in project monitoring and supervision. Mr. Ekere highlighted the 4R strategy designed by the governing board as imperative towards optimizing performance, as well as ensuring that the Niger Delta Development Commission begins to fulfill its mandate and meet the expectations of the people.
It was and it remains our commitment to restore the core mandate of the Commission by ensuring availability of a properly prepared set of master plans for the 9 states making up the Niger Delta region. We also remain committed to restructuring the Commission's balance sheet And that's why you've noticed that some months back, we cancelled over 600 projects. We're also in the process of cancelling another set of over 450 projects, all aimed at reducing the balance sheet of NDDC, make it more manageable so that we can concentrate on doing less number of projects and delivering on them, rather than doing so many projects and delivering on none.
The MD CEO assured the consultants that the NDDC would, in line with the 4R strategy, give priority to payment for their services, stating that it had introduced a new payment system which would make it unnecessary for them to frequently visit the Commission's headquarters. In his remarks, the NDDC Executive Director of Project, Engineer Sam Ajogbe, advised the consultants to always work in tandem with the contractors and the Commission's engineers.
When you are the supervisory consultant, ordinarily you are supposed to be the representative of NDDC on that job. So what we also expect is to ensure that there is enough collaboration between the consultant and the contractor, such that we are able to deliver that job. The project site should not be a battleground where the consultant is fighting the contractor or the contractor is fighting the consultant. Sometimes because you did not pass the instruction in the way that the contractor understood it, bearing in mind the contractor wants to maximize profit, and you are also insisting that the job has to be done in the right way. Most times, instead of resolving issues amicably or bringing them to our own attention, this one is grandstanding, this one is also grandstanding. At the end of the day, the project is put to a halt.
Ajogbe urged the consultants to be writing periodic reports on NDDC projects to avoid allowing things to go wrong before seeking remedy. Some of the consultants at the meeting commended the professional spirit being introduced by the current board and management of the NDDC, but were quick to add some of the worries of the consultants.
We are really impressed. What we got today is what we expected, and it now is for them to implement what they have said.
NDDC should use only professionally qualified people who have their associations, professional associations, so that any compromising of integrity also should be reported to the professional bodies for appropriate disciplinary action, so that at the end NDDC has the best designs and that everything will be done well.
The much talked about Obia-Nembe Road project of the NDDC and Shell partnership is one of the flagship projects of the NDDC. The road, which is near completion, has since been put to use. And you won't believe it, the road may be commissioned very soon, according to the Managing Director, Chief Executive of NDDC. Our correspondent, who was at the meeting of the NDDC with the leaders of Nimbe at the NDDC headquarters, sent in this report.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has assured the leaders of the Nimbe Congress that the Commission will complete the 27.5-kilometer Ogbia-Nembe Road in no distant time. The NDDC Managing Director, Mr. Esima Ekere, gave the assurance when a delegation of the Nimbe leaders of thought paid him a courtesy visit at the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt.
This is one of the first projects that NDDC is doing in conjunction with another organization, and in this case, Shell SPDC. And so, in the spirit of our new partnership, we must ensure that this project is completed so it can serve as a flagship for other collaborations that we intend to carry out with other entities.
The NDDC Chief Executive Officer said that with the Ogbia-Nembe Road experience, the Commission had entered into several other partnerships.
We are now entering into collaborations with even state governments to do projects in their states. We, in Ondo State, for instance, We are doing the Niger Ibejileki Road, going all the way from the riverine parts of Ondo State to Lagos. NDDC is strategically partnering with the government of Ondo State to get that project done. We also have another project like that in Edo State.
On the extension of the road from Nembe Brass, the MD told his visitors that the federal government had shown interest in the project and that the NDDC was being hampered by the availability of funds. He noted that the NDDC was saddled with huge liabilities and thus efforts are being made to reduce the number of ongoing projects. Earlier, the vice chairman of the Nimbese Congress, Dr. Ebinyon Young Dede, told the NDDC boss that the entire Nembe Kingdom were eagerly waiting for the completion of the Ogbia-Nembe Road and the commencement of work on the Nembe Brass section, which also is one of the reasons for their visit. Dr. Young Dede stated that the Nimbese Congress had maintained a persistent and constructive engagement with the NDDC, which had resulted in the near completion of the construction of the Ogbia-Nembe Road, with extensions into Obolomabiri and Basamabiri and spurs into the various communities along the alignment.
The Ogbia-Nembe Road has reached an advanced stage of execution and is already serving many of our communities. While we have repeatedly expressed our gratitude for the partial relief provided our people so far, we are also seriously concerned that project that was contracted over 10 years ago is yet to be properly completed.
Dr. Young noted that the Nembe Brass Road project, when completed, will open up the enormous economic and social well-being of the remotest part of the Niger Delta.
Decades ago, the kingdom of Nembe, among other communities, buried in the bellies of the Bayelsa mangroves, were cut off from economic and social civilization for lack of motorable roads. In 2006, the NDDC, in partnership with Shell, came with the promise of hope. A 27-kilometer high-tech highway with 5 bridges cutting through rivers, swamps and mangrove forests of the Ogbia Upume Makalakala up to the city of Nembe town. It's now in use. The joy of the Nembes and its environs now knows no bound. Nembe economy and the industriousness of its people have taken a sudden leap.
We are relaxed. We can travel at will. And then the joy of being integrated to the mainland can never be quantified.
The NDDC really determined to make a difference.
Still on roads, the Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program of NDDC has reached Edo and Bayelsa states respectively. The Commission has undertaken the repairs of many failed roads within the city of Benin and other communities across Edo and Bayelsa states. The reports.
In Bayelsa State, one riveting fact that greets one is a network of carefully constructed roads through Okporoma Bolaku Road in Okpokoma local government area, Odi Trofani Road, Otiotio Road, Do Good Street, Good News Street, Azikoro Road, Shepherd Vine Road, and others. Other roads in which the Commission's intervention is ongoing in the state capital are the Captain Ayeni Street, Mike Okpokpo Road, Osiri Road, Harbour Road, Dim Rose Green Villa Custom Link Road, and the NIIT Road, all in Yenagoa. The anticipated result chain of these road projects are numerous and visible. For instance, the Captain Ayeni Road was totally impassable as recounted by these tricycle operators who lamented the terrible state of the road before NDDC intervened. Now, they can ply the road, conveying their passengers to various destinations.
There was a time where keke no go fit pass, motor no go fit pass. Now only people will go fold their trousers go pick cross this road, bus out to the Mbiama and Yenagwa road. Now the road is 100% fine.
The same goes for some shop owners along the road who say that their businesses have picked up since the rehabilitation of the 290-meter failed section of the road, with the silting of existing drains and reconstruction of damaged portions of the drains.
Formerly, when you see this road, you go vex tire because when rain fall, the place is deep. You go carry person for leg for year. I won't take waka pass when rain fall. No way, the people when there for this side go hang for this side. The people when there for this side go hang for this side. But as they can't finish this road, we thank God. Now everybody fit pass. They go wherein they go, come back, just like that.
The Mike Okpokpo Road project has also taken on a new look after the overlaying of concrete pavement with asphaltic wearing course and the construction of a stretch of 746.5 meter concrete pavement after the silting of existing drains. The once almost quiet neighborhood now wears a new look that suggests upsurge in economic activity.
Before, for me to sell 2,000 a day is a problem. But now, as you can see, there is one or two customers in my shop. I'm very, very happy. NDDC, may God bless you.
Traders in this ever-busy popular Harbour Road market in Yenagoa are going about their businesses in earnest enthusiasm after the rehabilitation of the 10.555.30 meter failed section of the road. Some traders recall the challenges they had to face when the road was totally impassable, especially during the rainy season. Now, they can transport their goods into the market without hassles.
When it is rainy season, we know the water is just there like river, na river for this place. Keke no dey pass, people when they carry leg no dey fit pass for here. We dey suffer, we dey cry for God, make God send person come do this road. Market not there, we dey cry. But God hear our cry, send NDDC, come do this road fine like this. We feel they run, we feel they waka, keke they move, market sef they sell. I thank God when God send this NDDC man come do this road. I thank God.
When they have not done this road before, we used to suffer for customer. We hardly get customer because of the bad roads. But now, since they have do the road and don't walk the road, we get customer.
The Osiri NIIT and Dimrose Green Villa Custom Link Roads are all stories of successful projects of the NDDC emergency road repairs.
When Yenagoa started, it was just like a glory, it was like a village. But with the good work of the state government and NDDC as an intervention agency, is beginning to take the shape of a modern city. With time, we hope that with time, with what we are doing, before we go out on board, we might be able to have impacted positively on the lives of the people of Bayelsa as it relates to infrastructure, that I know.
Away from Bayelsa state capital, into Otueke, where the Otueke Internal Roads Phase 2 lay completed. Speaking on the project, which is expected to have 44.00 meter reinforced concrete drain, precasting and installation of 900 diameter pipe culvert and 24 meter length of culvert, construction of 1,000 pieces cover slabs for the drain, and construction of 2.2 kilometer rigid pavement with 7.3 carriage width.
All the communities that pass through that road benefit from that. So just imagine all the Ogbea communities. All the communities you can find in Ogbea local government are all to benefit from that road. And very importantly, you know, we have a university there now. And students don't really have accommodations and all of that. Even when we were carrying out the clearing, people started coming there to buy properties, you know, so that they could build hostel facilities, accommodations, even for students and all of that. And because it's a new layout, you see that everybody will now go out of the congested environment to come, and it's like a GRA now of Otueke community.
The construction of this virgin road in this seemingly remote area of Otueke is opening up this axis of the community. In Ewe community, farmers are seen moving their produce from the community to a point where it can be transported to the city through Atuba and Imiringi communities. After the completion of this road, the road project is serving members of Atuba Ewe communities and their neighbors.
In Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation, the NDDC seems alive to its responsibilities as an interventionist agency. The Commission is continuously complementing the efforts of the state government. So far, the governing board of the NDDC has demonstrated a strong resolve in all fronts to change the narrative on the quality of projects of the Commission in all the states. Edo State, according to the state representative on the board of the Commission, is more determined to take the lead ahead of others.
For me, as part of my responsibility is to ensure that I monitor projects, its premises, so that it will be executed according to specification. And this is what NDDC lacked before. One, they lack monitoring. Two, they also lack designs. Roads were designed in NDDC without stone base, and those roads failed.
Orionwa, one of the largest food baskets and oil-producing local government areas of Edo State, is on board the train of the Commission's emergency road repair program. This 2.4-kilometer road welcomes you to Ewodobian, the ancestral maternal home of late Oba Kinswa of the Benin Kingdom. Ewodobian and 4 other adjoining communities for decades never had a motorable road. The people were often cut off from their local markets and, of course, from civilization.
12 years I've been operating this road. This road was very bad, to the extent when coming from Campo, and when they tell us that they're going to Woodopia, our man were caught, After that they work on those is 2 years onward now. We started enjoying the road. Anytime they say Woodopia, once immediately we start our motor and move. So we thank the people that we are all enjoying the road very well.
The history of primary education here in Ewodobian is dated back to 1953, 7 years earlier than Nigeria's independence. The structures in this school better explain the community's story of years of neglect and abandonment. A once-forgotten community now shines again. With a 2.4-kilometer erosion-controlled drainage alongside the road, it's expected that every drop of water around here shall have no place to settle anymore around the community.
As regards the road network here before this time, it was nothing to write home about, in short. But for now, I'm just seeing a little development as the road is being constructed. I think, I hope the government will continue in that process.
Owe Ewodobian Egboko Road and Drain Project appears to define the new change in the quality of the Commission's project in Edo State. With the first phase of the project now near completion, what's left now is the finishing touches on the side drains. Ewodobian and other communities along this project alignment now heave a sigh of relief. The road repair work of the Commission was also felt in Onwa local government area of Edo State. The NDDC intervened on a 1.6-kilometer Ogute-Okpa road in Onwa. Ogute-Okpa communities are now proud owners of a good access road. The timely rescue of Omoragbo Utonwe streets off Otete Road in Benin is another plus to the NDDC. This 1.3-kilometer project linked Otete Road to Sapele Road in Benin City. This ever-busy road for many years was abandoned to refuse dumps and flood. It now serves as the shortest route for motorists around the vicinity to go in and out of Otete and its environs.
We are grateful while we want them to do more of this in Edo State because there are other areas that we're suffering what we're suffering before now. So I want them to extend this that they did here to other areas so that they will still be benefiting what we are benefiting now, business-wise and otherwise.
Before the NDDC moved to Use Market Road, Use Extension up to Palace Road in Ego local government of Edo State, the residents here never had hope of any form of access roads in or out of their community, and even different homes.
This road was not passable before. It was even difficult to even treat in this area, to even pass through it with your legs. But today, we can see the work is ongoing, that people cannot pass through their legs and vehicles can also pass through. It is now accessible by all.
I just like as it is before. It's on go area. Everywhere is smelly. This is my store here. Before this time, I used to buy fleet here because of this place, the smelly of this place. Now as it is now, I like it. I'm even happy about what you people are doing here. And this place now is more trouble. It's not my market want to be moving. I praise God for it.
This 1.5-kilometer emergency work around Use, which includes surface dressing and asphalting, may appear small, but the impact can only be gauged by what residents here have expressed. The mega remedial road projects across Edo State shall continue to count in numbers.
That's our package for this week. We thank you so much for watching and hope to see you again next week. Till then, if you have any questions, comments, or reactions to any NDDC projects or program, kindly reach us on the addresses or phone numbers right now on your screen. As I always say, we would love to hear from you. From me and the rest of the crew, it is bye for now. See you next week.